Second is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which will start July 1st. This replaces the Youth Investment Act that we have been operating under since 1999. And so we expect that there'll be new information about that, as well as best practices in the youth programming.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Sokol, second to that. Supervisor Wood, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
When do you age out of the youth academy?
When do I? I've never gone, actually. Usually Sharon and our other youth counselor attend, and I said, well, since it's in Saratoga, I'll just, maybe I'll go this year and hopefully learn something new. Yeah. But apparently you never do.
Guess not.
I just wanted to update the committee on our office space because we have talked about it in previous months. As you know, our lease expired December 31st. There is a short list of sites in the area that the Office of General Services is negotiating a current lease. They said it takes about 3 months for the state to execute a lease with a landlord. So that would bring us to probably the end of March or early April before any kind of announcement would be made on where we might be going. They have kept us up to speed with the space requirements and the layouts and that kind of thing. But just so you know where we're at with it, and I'll continue to keep you posted as we move along. And unless there's any questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then finally, I mentioned the Youth Innovation and Opportunity Act. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there's really more questions than answers. I was really looking for some information on what it would mean, specifically for the committee, what kind of actions you may need to take. Just to give you an example, one of the things that will change is the policy board for the program is currently the Workforce Investment Board. That's going to change. It will now be called the Workforce Development Board. It will be a smaller board, but we don't know exactly how that's going to be made up. I don't know if this committee will need to affirm all of the appointments that have been made. About a third of the appointments on that board are made by this committee in Warren County. So those are some of the details that we really don't know yet. There were proposed regulations that were supposed to come out in January, and on around the date that the regulations were supposed to be published, the U.S. Department of Labor announced that those regulations would come out in the spring. So your guess is as good as mine to what constitutes spring. Unless there's questions, I did give you a handout that gives you at least an idea of some of the changes and some of the focus that the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act has. One of the things which I think we do very well is they talk about greater ties to higher services, specifically community colleges. And we work with SUNY Adirondack on multiple levels, on multiple occasions in various programs. So we think that will be even strengthened as a result of this new funding.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I just wondered if anybody on the committee had any questions.
Yeah.
Chris?
I did have one new item that wasn't on the agenda, if it pleases the board. Just this morning, our part-time youth counselor submitted her resignation effective March 10th. She's actually retiring. She's not retiring from the county service. Her husband retired at the end of the year, and so she's looking to spending time with her husband. I have talked with the county administrator about filling the position. I understand, there's a proper procedure, but I was hoping that the committee could consider that this morning. We would just be replacing, existing part-time person with a new part-time person. There was a civil service list that expired December 14th, so any appointment would be a provisional one. But it would basically be replacing the existing position and continuing the same role. Sharon's here in case there were questions about the specific duties, since it is a youth counselor that we will be looking to fill.
I think it might be nice to hear what the duties are so we do have some idea.
I don't know if you have time.
Oh.
However,
The abridged version.
A brief.
I do coordinate the youth programs and work in a supervisory role at the One Stop with the staff for employment and training. But Noreen primarily does the day-to-day operations with the youth programs. She oversees the task program that we contract with BOCES for. She does case management with all of those youth. She works very closely with our crew leader, and as both she and I do, work with the youth who are on the crew. We do the Summer Youth Employment Program, which we really start gearing up in April, once we know whether we have TANF funding from the New York State budget. So we start gearing up, going into schools, interviewing close to 200 youth for a program that ends up being approximately 60 to 75 young people on our summer program. Then we have to get work sites for them. We monitor those sites. We currently also have youth that are on work experiences through the program, through the federal legislation, subsidized work experiences. And we see youth who walk in. If there's anyone under 21 at this point who comes into the One Stop, they call either Noreen or I to see if youth services are appropriate. We also have young people who are going to be going to BOCES for the CNA program. We sponsor young people to go for automotive tech, things of that nature. So Noreen really does the day-to-day, and it was a sad morning for me.
I'm sure it was.
So, but if you need any more specifics, I'd be glad to provide.
All right, thank you. Do we then have to make a motion, Joan?
Yes, you can approve it, and just, Chris will have to go back through and start down at HR.
Yeah, I have spoken to I didn't speak to Gretchen, she was unavailable this morning, but I did speak with Trish Nenninger, who updated me on the status of the current civil service list. And again, I have spoken to the county administrator about it. And, you know, he understands the need for the position and the time frame that we're under, since, you know, we need to start the summer program starting in April.
All right, and I'm looking for a motion to approve that. Supervisor Vansel, second by Supervisor Brock. Yes.
Thank you. Does this need to be moved on to personnel, or?
Just be reported to personnel,
Okay.
providing all the other approvals.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you very much. I didn't have anything unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Very good. Thank you very much, Chris. Sharon?
No.
It's a part-time.
That'll be a lot. Ooh. Back to Chris, if he can.
Give this back to you, Chris, and then you can, Frank is here if you want. And then you'll just have to get initials.
There you go.
I printed mine out yesterday. Has it changed since then?
No, you're not very good. That's what I like to see.
It wasn't here that Chris
What?
changed himself on the
It
emergency
changed.
committee. I told him, I said, Chris, you know, you didn't make the agenda. I said, you better explain it.
No, we just moved
Day to
forward.
day. I'm just
We were good too.
checking
All
to
right.
make sure I have the right packet.
We'll move along then to
Crying out
Office
loud.
of the Aging with Christie.
Oh, hey, is there any more junk to put in here?
Okay, Ron, we're ready. Sorry.
Well, I'm not.
I know.
Now I am.
Okay. Christie,
Morning.
good morning.
So I guess I'll go right into my action agenda. The first item is resolution request form number 4. This is to amend the lease for the town of Luzerne to increase their lease amount. I think as everyone knows, back when we did some restructuring of the meals program, the town of Luzerne took on responsibility for a nutrition site employee, saving the county quite a bit of money. And at that time, we structured the lease as it had been with the fire department. And after reviewing cost comparisons, I made a recommendation to the budget committee this year to increase Luzerne's rent amount, and the budget committee approved that. So now I'm putting it in so that I'll be able to pay the town of Luzerne that increased amount. It's an increase of $5,000 per year.
I need a motion to approve that request. Supervisor Wood, second. Supervisor Gerard, any discussion? Yes, Gene.
Take it from before, I did announce this last And the reason why I'm so happy for this is that, we increased our, meal service to seniors in our town and in the community by 70% since 2011. And we increased the Meals on Wheels program delivery. We're up to about 5,950 meals we deliver. That's a 215% increase. So this money is well helped. You know, we have a paid staff there on top of the paid staff in the county. And plus, we bring in, volunteers from the school system. These kids come in and, help serve the seniors and learning program, cooking and stuff like that. So it's really, and our whole program at the senior center has, we get almost 5,000 people come extra to our aerobics and all the things, mahjong and everything they do down in our senior center. So it's really been pretty active, and I appreciate the, working with the city agent here, and she does a great job. She listens to me when I complain, on the shop, so it's good that we work together
Right.
between the county and the town, and it's something that we started 4 or 5 years ago. This is one of the good programs that I think, you know, really worked out well for a lot of towns.
I think so. You have good results. All right, so I need, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, my next request is for a budget transfer. Sadly, the 26-year-old dishwasher in Indian Lake has finally, had its last hurrah. So we need to replace that. A commercial dishwasher is mandatory as per DOH guidelines, to get the heat and the temperature up high enough to properly sanitize. So I'm just requesting a transfer. I didn't have any money budgeted to equipment, so.
All right, motion by Supervisor Gerard, second by Supervisor Wood. All those in favor?
Do you have an idea how much this, I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
we do, actually, we have 3 quotes. The highest quote was like $5,000. The quote that will go with is about $3,300. And that includes the delivery, setup, and removal of the old one.
I thought you were talking about a person.
Aye.
So we're all in favor then, right? All right,
Yep.
go ahead, Christie.
I'm gonna be, withdrawing resolution request forms number 3, and the 2 for number 3, item 3 and item 4. I had hoped to have more information, to enter into the contract, but at this time, I don't. I will possibly have to bring this as a pre-post, depending on the information I receive from Hamilton County, but it is Hamilton County contract, paid for by Hamilton County, and there would be no increase, it would just be a change of contract.
Sounds good.
And then the last one is, it's a request to enter into contracts with, I've been approached by various managed long-term care companies, to contract with them to provide meals for their managed long-term care participants. It's, a source of revenue for the county. They would be paying us, per meal. And I get the request, they need to have a contract in place with us before they can get their approval from DOH to come into the county. And, right now I have 3 different, companies, VNA, VNSNY, and Elder Plan, all looking to contract with us. So I talked to Terry McGar in the county attorney's office about the best way to propose this resolution, and she suggested, that I just put it as a TBD for new contracts. So that's resolution request form number 3. So I'm not really sure, as it's not a contract that we're paying, it's contract paying us, how the committee would like to proceed with those. Because as of right now, I have the contracts coming in and I have them calling me, but I don't have the specifics. I'd like to have one set rate for all of them. We do have a contract in place with Fidelis, that's the one, but right now we don't have any participants using it.
All right, I guess we're looking for some input from the committee. Do we do a motion or just, should we?
Well, I think they should authorize them to be determined, to just authorize the agreement.
Okay, so then I need a motion to authorize the agreement. Supervisor Gerard, second to that? Second, Supervisor Wood. Now, I need,
Just a question as to how we're gonna determine pricing for the meals?
Yeah, I I would like to, they all ask me for our price, what we're gonna charge for the meal. So I'd like to take a closer look at that and make sure that we, obviously, should be the same price for everybody. And it would be dependent on whether they want both Hamilton and Warren County. So, and I wanna make sure that, we're able to provide meals to the clients, because it's all their clients. Anyone on the Ranch Long-Term Care Program, which would be under six, want to have the volunteers that are able to deliver those meals. You know, there's a couple different things I have to be sure of before I would want to enter into the contract.
Right, that's my that would be my second concern, is that we have the staffing. I think that, when we figure the cost of the meals, though, I think you have to just take all costs, the rental of the facility, the personnel that are used, the mileage that we pay for the volunteers, you know, all aspects of it. And then we have to make sure it doesn't impact negatively on your current operations. So I assume you'll be looking at all of that.
Yep.
But we don't have those figures yet.
I have a cost per meal for an average cost per meal for everybody, because each site has a different cost per meal. So I have an average in mind, but I have to look at the mileage to add to that. And that's a little trickier, because mileage is just by GL, not specific to every individual site.
How soon do you need to do this, Christie?
Soon. I'll be looking at it today.
So you'd be looking for a resolution of the board giving you authority to enter into these types of contracts.
Yeah.
I would recommend that this information, you know, it's up to you, of course, Madam Chair, as to how you would want to proceed in your committee, but, you know, certainly before the resolution of the board, you'd want to have this information so that, you know, we can assess it and make sure that it's going to work, and that you have this information before you act upon it.
Well, you would be able to email that out to all of us, though, so we would have a chance to look it over, right?
Yep, I'll start looking at it today. I mean, I don't know that I'll have it for you today, but I'm going back to the office, and I've got 3 different contracts that they've sent me. So I have to read their contracts too, because they all vary a little on what you're agreeing to, so I've got to look at those. And I think a couple of them I've sent to the county attorney's office to look at as well.
Right? Any discussion from the committee? Any comments? Is that how we'll proceed then? We've made the motion, seconded. All those in favor of that motion? I can't remember if we all approved it or not, did we?
So we voted at it.
Did we?
Didn't vote on it.
We did? We did not, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. So then we'll wait to hear from you then, Christie, regarding that information.
Very good.
All righty?
All right, that's all I have.
I have one other question, and I think you probably talked to Don about it, about how the, other meal sites have gone number-wise, like over in Luzerne, theirs have like increased dramatically, and they've really worked at it. What about some of the other meal sites, like Chestertown and the ones in Glens Falls? Have you seen?
What we're seeing is a trend towards home-delivered meal delivery. Our meals steadily increase every year. This year was the first year that they did not since 2010. I put together numbers. But we are generally seeing the congregate go down, which is why Luzerne is an anomaly, because their numbers continue to increase. But the home-delivered meals are generally increasing. So overall, every year we have an increase in number of meals.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have anything else they need? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Supervisor Wood, seconded by Supervisor Van. All those in favor?
Everybody-
Sorry about that.